So in the first two, we discussed more around the business side of things. When it comes to technology, from an SAP customer's point of view, what technologies has SAP got that can enable them to sort of reduce their risk and reduce the level of uncertainties within their business? Over to yourself, Amin.
Yeah, so thinking from my point of view or my perspective within the SAP portfolio, the first product that comes to mind when talking about supply chain planning within uncertainty is IBP or SAP Integrated Business Planning, which has been conceived especially to answer these types of questions. So basically, SAP IBP, which is an acronym for SAP Integrated Business Planning, is our solution for digital supply chain planning today. And the idea is to let the supply chain planners within all of their different perspectives keep what they have been doing for the last couple of decades very well. They need to keep that, but also add new layers of collaboration and of productivity. So basically, the challenge behind this tool is to enable each of these different supply chain planners that come from different backgrounds, say demand planners who only see the supply chain from a quota and revenue perspective, or supply planners or procurement planners who are more keen on efficiency and cost reduction, or inventory planners, financial budgeting planners who need to review different things, who are looking at the supply chain and seeing different things. The idea is to enable each and every one of them to look at the supply chain and see the same thing as the others, while keeping the whole efficiency and functionalities that they had from an algorithm perspective, from functionalities, from a functionality perspective, and so on and so forth. So with this IBP, we have enabled this common planning platform with different modules, the first of which would be IBP for demand. That will help us create a whole demand plan with lifecycle management, with forecasting algorithms, with demand sensing on a very short-term level. Then we have IBP for inventory that will enable us to do multi-echelon inventory optimization, where we are going to determine the level of targets and safety stock that we need to have. We have IBP for response and supply that's going to create the whole response and supply plan on that perspective. And then we also have IBP for sales and operations, which would orchestrate all of the different flows and create a real sales and operations plan, or an SNOP. We also have IBP for demand-driven replenishment for our customers who are using today the TTMRP technology. And finally, IBP, SAP Supply Chain Control Tower, that will help us create a 360 degrees view on the supply chain, and to compare in a dashboarding and alert monitoring way the plan to the execution, and to work on exceptions. The idea behind the solution is to be able to factor in within simulation scenario, within what if analysis, from an end-to-end perspective, how to work with uncertainties and how to plan all together throughout one platform, keeping each our own functionalities and algorithms, but having an eye on how that what that changes for the rest of the supply chain. So today, when a supply chain planner is going to put off a production line on maintenance or change its assignment, it will see how much that will affect the demand of the other part of the supply chain. When a demand planner is shutting off a customer line or is increasing a customer demand, they will see how much that will strain the supply chain, and the rest goes as well for the rest of the supply chain. So this is a common platform, a software as a service cloud solution that's helping today our customers plan in a simple norm, but also a very complicated uncertainty new norm.
Thank you, Amin. And Rohit, from a CFO's perspective, what technologies can they adopt to manage the level of uncertainty within their business?
Yeah. So as finance function is at the core of all the processes, so choosing the right technology enables CFOs or the finance leaders to help the business in their growth strategies. S/4HANA helps actually CFO vision in multiple ways. it gives CFOs the control on the system landscape. If the financial data resides in different systems, and these systems are not well connected with each other, then it will be difficult for CFO to get the insight about the financial strength of the company. But in S/4HANA, in central finance system, all systems are well integrated, and it actually replicates whatever is the real-time data from all these different heterogeneous landscape. And this gives the real-time financial data to CFO for making a quick decision in whatever area they wanted to see. So this is the flexibility given by S/4HANA, but at the same time, there are a number of other things which are actually important from S/4HANA perspective. S/4HANA gives control over the processes. So processes in S/4HANA actually are well integrated, and because of that, there is no need of manual reconciliation or manual intervention. And this tells the CFO which process requires their immediate attention and which processes can be automated using robotics process automation feature of S/4HANA. At the same time, CFO gets the holistic, real-time, multi-dimensional view of the operational data and analytical capabilities for decision making. They also have the flexibility of actually doing the financial planning and the forecasting capabilities. Either they'll be creating the budgets or maybe the rolling forecast. They can prepare that in S/4HANA easily. Real-time financial reporting and quick closing is one another feature. Consolidation is also very important from the CFO perspective. Payroll activities to be done at the right time. This is the necessity for the CFO to maintain these activities quickly. And at the same time, um, S4HANA actually is an innovation platform that helps CFOs to reimagine and reinvent their processes for competitive advantage. I was talking about risk management earlier, so identification and mitigation plan, you can create that in S4HANA. Cash and liquidity manage can be easily dealt in S4HANA. And similarly, finance functions, they provide the CFOs to enable audit and compliance, because this is the important thing which a CFO would be looking at. They need to satisfy the auditors, and they'll be actually tax compliant, or so there is a feature of advanced compliance reporting by S4HANA, which actually gives the flexibility to actually prepare the tax data, and with the help of the approvers, they'll be actually sending it to the tax authorities. So, and there is one new feature which has come in S4HANA, which is very useful for the CFOs to anticipate future revenues and expenditure. This is actually the predictive accounting, which will be very useful for the CFOs to actually see what is the forecast revenue and the expenses in the future. And similarly, AI, artificial intelligence, one area which will be actually helpful for smart thinking and decision making. Uh, there is feature of situation handling, embedded analytics for informing the users regarding the key metrics like day sales outstanding or the cash and liquidity, and many more. So there are a number of things which actually enable the CFOs for taking up a decision and helping the business to grow further.
Thank you, Rohit. Thank you. So it's, for me, I think in summarizing there, it's pretty clear that, not only are businesses being challenged through lots of uncertainty at this point in time and over the last 12 to 18 months, but, there are technologies, certainly from SAP, that can assist companies in smoothing out some of that uncertainty and reducing risk. Before we move on to questions, just a couple of things for the audience that I think could be of real value. A short introduction to you about Invenio. So for those of you that don't know us, we're headquartered here in the UK. We've been established here for about 15 years, we focus on 3 sectors: private sector, which we're discussing today, media and entertainment, and the public sector. We're about 1,200 employees globally. And about $100 million in revenue. So, and we're backed by a private venture capitalist, BGF Ventures. So moving on to some things that we've done here at Invenio working with our customers is we have recently released an acceleration implementation package for IBP. So the solution that Amin was talking about earlier, we have built this package based on our experience. It delivers out-of-the-box templates, and our commitment is to our customers and new customers is to get you up and running in 90 days. So to start helping customers really get some value in a short period of time from the solution and driving some of that uncertainty from their business. And then from an S4HANA perspective, again, we have developed an approach, and depending on where you are on your journey of looking at ECC and moving to S4 in the future, we are able to guide you on that process, be that a technical assessment, a business assessment that drives out a business case and an ROI for the business to justify the investment to move, all the way through to the more technical components of doing migration, custom code analysis. We'd be very happy to discuss this further with you if this is interest to you and your organization. So let's move on to some questions. I know we're getting close to the sort of half-hour mark, and I think we have some questions from the audience. So the first question I have here in the chat is, sorry, apologies, we've got quite a few questions in here. So the first one is to yourself, Rohit. So how can we get a view at a group level from multiple geographies? Can S4HANA help in the consolidation at the group level?
Okay, there is a very good feature given by S4HANA. It's with the name of group reporting. Basically, with the help of group reporting, you can consolidate the figures from different geographies, and you can actually consolidate in Data Monitor and Consolidation Monitor. There are two features in it that will actually help the business to consolidate, and it will actually help in terms of closing the books locally and at the same time from the group perspective. So it's a very good feature which is being given it by SAP in S4HANA.
Yeah, sure. Okay, excellent. And then this one's for you. I mean, does SAP have many references for IBP in the manufacturing industry? I appreciate you may not be able to share customer names.
Yeah, it would be maybe this simple to share customer names, but in terms of publicly accessible numbers, we have just reached the 1,000 customer milestone this year. Some of those customers are official references, and we at SAP can help you get in touch with those that are more relative to your industry and on your sector.
Yeah, that's great, and I think that's testament to the IBP solution. That it is delivering real value for customers to already have that many customers. So now I think unfortunately we've run out of time. There are some more questions in the chat. What we will do is we will come back to you personally, but sadly we've run out of time for today. So I'd just like to say thank you to Amin and Rohit for your very insightful presentations and discussions, and thank you to you, the customers and people attending the webinar, for listening to us today.